I came into this game expecting speed, and I lost over £30,000 because of that. So in today's video, I'm going to stop you losing money as well by explaining my story and how I got over the hump. Because most of you are operating out of a need for money. And most of you need money now, which will end up blowing more money in the long run. I started back in 2020 trading in university. And like everyone else, I thought I was going to get rich quick and quit my job or drop out of university, and this is going to be my full-time job. That exact mentality cost me 4 years of losing and over £30,000. Reality hit me hard after a while, and it took me almost 4 years of going in circles, losing money in the markets, to realize that you are the problem to your own trading, and only you can fix those problems. It is you versus you. And because you are operating out of a place of scarcity and wanting to quit your job now, wanting to make money now, you learn bad habits. And these bad habits manifest themselves into your trading. And these things that you train yourself to learn, you have to unlearn them at some point. The thing is, most traders who fail never unlearn these things. It's just a repeating cycle. They've had terrible mentors who've taught them things that don't actually work for a quick bag, when they never actually go to unlearn these things. When you unlearn these things, you start to learn new things that actually work, new things that repeat in the marketplace. But most people never actually get the chance to do that. So for 4 years, I thought the problem was my strategy over and over again. Now, the funny thing is, the thing I trade now that's made me over 6 figures from trading is not that different from what I was trading back then. Now, it's more put together and it's more refined, of course. It's more refined to me and my personality, but the concepts are the same. I just obviously put the concepts together differently, and I'm looking for different things. But overall, it's not that different. Now, that tells me one thing. That tells me that, to be honest, it's not really your strategy. Now, obviously, if your strategy just flat out doesn't work, then it's going to be that. But the reality is, a lot of strategies work. I mean, support and resistance traders, they get a bad rep in my space especially. They make more money than most people in my space. So what does that say? That says it's not really the strategy, it's more so the trader. So the trader has to become a trader who would make money in these markets already. Because right now, you behind this camera I'm speaking to, are someone who would never make money from trading. In the way you act, in the way you move, in the way you actually trade, you are not someone who would make money from these markets. Someone who makes money from these markets is not rolling out of bed onto their desk and looking for a trade and entering within 10 minutes. That's something I used to do, all right? For example, again, a trader who has made money from these markets and consistently makes money from these markets quarter to quarter, that's how you should measure it, quarter to quarter, not week to week, because there's a longer time frame to see if your model actually works. A successful trader also is not placing a trade, running out the house and doing laps around the street like I was doing a few years ago. That's literally what I was doing because I was scared of myself. I was scared because I would enter a trade and deep down knowing the fact that I was not ready, or this wasn't my model, this didn't fit my model. I wasn't ready to even put this risk on. I would buy massive challenges, $200,000 challenges, which cost, by the way, industry average is like $1,000. I would buy these challenges and take them with about $1,000 in my bank account. Seriously. And then I'd eat like packet rice for dinner because I wanted this so bad. But when you want this so bad, you're just going to reject it over and over again. It's literally a repellent. You wanting this as bad as you do right now is literally a repellent. Not wanting to be successful, but the want for money, the desire for money now, because you're in a situation where you're broke. You're in a situation where you can't pay your bills, where you can't put food on the table. These situations all manifest themselves into your results through trading, So when I was placing trades and running outside, literally just not looking at my phone, running outside, walking about for an hour, and I come back, guess what? It'd probably be a loss. I didn't realize at the time that I was operating out of a place that would never, ever get me successful. You doing that is never going to get you successful. Of course it's not. You can't even face yourself because deep down, you know you know deep down you should not be trading that challenge because you're not even got a strategy. You're not even a trader who would make money. So what eventually happened over time is I got a job. First of all, I got a job and I was able to fund a bit of my challenges, which took some pressure off my back. I see this a lot with younger people. Older people watching this probably doesn't apply to you, right? But younger people, hungry young people like I was in university and these, entry-level jobs, things like that. I see a big issue where they don't really have an income, of course, they're young. They don't have an established income, and any income they do have, they're pouring into challenges. That is a recipe for disaster. And I went on like that for 4 years, right? Most people are going to quit after 1 year, not even a year. Most people are going to see money draining coming out of their bank account after 6 months and just quit. And then there's some great traders out there who never became great traders and they don't even know it, which is the whole reason I make these videos, because I would hate for that to happen to one of you. And if I can at least get on here, tell my story, give some advice, etc., and stop one of you who would have been a great trader, like millionaire level trader, from quitting, I've done my job. And that's why I make these videos. But the reality is, until you adopt the characteristics and put yourself in a position to adopt the characteristics of someone who is profitable in these markets, someone who can afford to wait a week for a trade. Most of you on here can't wait a week for a trade, and you know it. I tell people when I teach them privately as well, you have to be able to wait. There's certain weeks where the market's not high probability to me. Now that looks different to all of you, but to me, and if you learn from me, if you consider me to be your mentor, which, I appreciate, then there are simply times where there's not going to be a trade. For example, it's Friday I don't even know the day. Let me see the date. It's Friday the 21st of November right now, and the market on NASDAQ for me is overextended. We've took out previous month low. Now I'm sitting out. Now, some of you behind this screen, literally as I'm speaking, it's New York session, are trading right now. And you haven't yet identified when your model works, when it doesn't work. Okay, so let's say we've gotten over the psychological aspect of needing money. You're halfway there, to be honest. That's the main thing that people struggle with. And people blow tens of thousands of dollars. You behind this camera have probably blown, if you're over the age of 25, tens of thousands of dollars trying to learn trading. And, it's a shame. It's a real shame. But let's say you've gotten over that aspect now. You don't need money right now. You've accepted that this might take a couple of years. Now, you need to develop your model. And your model needs to fit you, your personality. For example, I like to scalp. I'm someone who can watch the 1 minute charts. This is my job full time. So I can sit intraday in New York and watch the 1 minute chart and predict the next 4 hour candle and trade that expansion downwards or upwards. Some of you cannot do that. And then you need to develop a model that fits your work life balance, your home, your family life, all of these things. Okay, maybe I can trade the 4 hour chart. Maybe I can enter on a 4 hour and trade a weekly candles expansion. These are things you need to think about. Now, if you want to learn from me, there's a free course literally in the second link in the description. Go type that, and that's what I use to make money in these markets. But you don't have to go over there. You can learn off pretty much anyone, right? A lot of strategies work. That's just my strategy. You can predict the weekly candle and get in line with that. For those of you who work a 9 to 5, all of that's good stuff. If you want to learn how, again, second link in the description. But when you've developed your model and it suits you, now you can start approaching challenges. And this is very, very important. So listen carefully. These challenges you do approach, you need to be able to afford them and be comfortable with the potential of losing them. If you are not, you will absolutely wreck yourself, your trading, your money, and your confidence. You will wreck it all, okay? You will literally destroy your confidence and you will never make it trading. It's true, because this was happening to me. Remember I told you, I was buying $200,000 accounts when I had about $1,200 in my bank account. And these challenges cost $1,000. So I'd leave myself with $200. What do you think that does for you? It puts a million levels of pressure on top of you, okay? And then you can't execute on the model you've already built, and you can't execute fearlessly. You are operating in complete fear. Remember, a few minutes ago when I said at the start of this video, I would literally place a trade and run outside. That's because of fear. That's because I was operating out of fear. I bought a $200,000 account when I could barely afford it. Yeah? I was operating out of complete fear. So I would run outside and try and avoid those emotions when I had to confront them, and I had to be smarter about the challenges I'm taking. Guys, if you cannot afford a $100,000 account, a $200,000 account, do not take them. Now, a few years ago, we didn't really have the option of futures prop firms, and now we do. Okay, so these futures prop firms do 50k accounts for pretty cheap, like $50 all in, some of them. Now, if you want to actually find the best reputable prop firm, check out Prop Firm Match. Okay, I am sponsored by them, but it's a really good platform that I actually use myself, and I would recommend you all to use. It doesn't cost anything to use it. You can look on there and compare different prop firms, see what works for you. You can compare prices, compare rules, and see what actually fits for you. So go over to the link in my description, sign up over there to Prop Firm Match to find the best prop firm that actually suits your trading. All right. Now, again, I would use Prop Firm Match and I would compare the futures prop firms, the 50k accounts. Trade the 50k accounts. They're very cheap and there's a lot of reliable prop firms. If they're not reliable, they're not going to be listed on Prop Firm Match. As simple as that. All right. So use that, find the best 50k challenge that suits your trading and trade that. And then risk on the average 50k challenge, you get $2,000 drawdown. Risk $200. So you get 10 shots on this. And that is going to do so much more for you than trading a $200,000 CFD account that you literally cannot afford right now, that you cannot afford to lose, is because you're going to gain confidence, like a confidence shot. If you pass that, or if you do really well on that, you don't even have to pass it. If you do really well with your model and your next trade looks like your last one, very key there, your next trade looks like your last one, then it gives you a massive confidence shot to go and approach these accounts, and you know you can make it now. You know you can make it work. It's just a matter of time. Time's the only separation now. And when time's the only separation between you and your goals, you know you can achieve them. And it gives you a massive confidence booster. Journal all these trades you took. That journal is going to become your confidence shot. When you go on a losing streak, check your journal. Look at all the winning trades that look exactly like the losses you just took. I'm dropping gems right now, so really take this in. All the losses you just took, go into your journal and look at the winning trades you had in the past. They all look like the losing trade you're taking now. That is the sign of a successful trader in the making. So the turning point for me, and I want to get back into my own story a little bit. The turning point for me was when the pain became greater than anything. I didn't even care anymore. Like, I almost wanted to prove that I could do this to myself. And you know why that pain was so big? Because I told everyone I was going to make this. When I passed a challenge, I told everyone I was gonna, this is it now. You know, I'm going to run this up. I'm going to make money off of this. I'm never going to have a job. This is me. And there's a specific moment where I passed a 50k FTMO challenge. And I passed this challenge. I ran it up to 56,000, which at the time I had about $300, £300 in my bank account. And that would have done whatever to my net worth, whatever X that is. It would have X5 my net worth, whatever it may be. It would have, you know, shot it up. And I needed that money really, really bad. And you know what I did? Gambled it on FOMC. Not intentionally, but they have a rule where you can't trade these big red news events. Didn't even realize FOMC was coming up. Took a trade, broke a rule, wiped me out. Now I ended up, luckily, thanks to FTMO being a decent firm, getting $1,000 payout, but should have been $6,000. And that was the turning point for me. That was where the pain became greater than anything, because I realized I was so close yet so far, because I'm not the trader that would be able to pull $6,000 out. Not yet. And that turning point, that pain, when something hits you this deep emotionally, that's when you'll change. Until then, you're not going to change. The only person holding you back is yourself. And until the pain becomes greater than anything else, you're not going to force change. You're not, because your brain doesn't see it as big enough right now to actually force you to change. And you have to change. You have to feel the pain. You have to blow accounts. And I know many of you have blown accounts. That's not a new feeling to you, but you have to realize that I have to lean into this pain. And if I don't lean into this pain, I'm never going to make it. You will keep going in cycles. If you don't lean into this pain and recognize it for what it is, recognize for what you need to do next to actually become profitable, you are never going to become profitable. Everyone tells you, oh, don't give up trading. Don't give up trading. I made it after 10 years. Do you want to wait 10 years? And if you have waited 10 years, do you want to wait any longer? Seriously, do you want to keep going in circles, or are you going to grip your mentality, grab it by the horns and ride it to the promised land already? Or are you just going to sit around doing the same thing for another 5 years? Again, when I ran up that account, I told my friends and family, oh, I'm up $6,000. I specifically remember playing basketball with my friend and I was telling him, I'm up $6,000 on this. Look at this, showing him the screenshot. And, I wasn't bragging. I wanted to show people that I loved what I was doing. And he was like, wow, he was almost shocked. He couldn't believe it, right? The next day, that happened. And, conveniently enough, he never heard about that account again. Which is all right now. I can laugh about it now. But back then, that wasn't funny, I remember doing it, walking about crying, literally crying. I couldn't believe what I'd just done. Again, I had £300 in my bank account. I had $6,000 waiting for me. If I waited another 4 days, over the weekend, I think it was FOMC on a Wednesday night, and on Monday, I had the payout. And, I can't believe it. I felt invincible. When you go on a little win streak, you feel invincible. And that's how you get burnt. It seriously is how you get burnt. You'll get killed doing that. And yeah, what I'm basically saying, that I say all that to say this, keep this private until you've been profitable for 3 quarters or a whole year. Seriously, keep this quiet, because as soon as you tell friends, family that you're going to make it trading, you put so much extra pressure on yourself that the thing is, you want to limit external pressure with trading. Things like getting a job, it limits external pressure because you've got money coming in, so you're good. And things like telling friends and family that you're going to make it trading, that's so much external pressure. And I understand it's good to hold yourself accountable. I understand that. I understand that it's good to tell people what you're going to, and I understand you want to tell them. I get that, because you value them and you value their opinions and you value how they view you. But they don't see you on a Sunday night at 10 p.m. Okay, so they don't really know you. Only you know how you're acting in front of these charts. Only you know that. And when you tell other people a false narrative about yourself that you know not to be true, and the universe is going to recognize that. And it's going to correct you, It's going to correct you and correct what you tell people. It's going to show you who you really are. And until it does that, until you feel that level of pain where it's just too big to even, you're either going to quit or you're going to change. When you get to that stage where you're going to quit or you're going to change, that's when most of you will change. Or some of you will quit. And you know what? I don't think training's for everyone. So that's the harsh reality. I'd love to get here and say every single one of you watching this is going to make it. It's not true. It's not true. But some of you are absolutely going to make it. And some of you definitely have the capabilities to literally be a millionaire. And again, it's why I make these videos, literally talking to a camera in my room. If I affect someone and I stop someone from quitting who ends up being successful, I've done my job. After all the money I lost, I think I've lost over £30,000, trading. Back then, after all of that, all the mentors I invested in, the one thing I learned is that you are the problem and you are the only one who can fix that internally. Now, I literally mentor people, so I can't say that I don't help people. I help people get results on the side of strategy, but also I can't push the buttons for them. So you are the problem and you are also the solution to your own problems. That is it. Now I can guide you and I help people. I give them strategy, I give them models, I teach them where the market is going and why it's going there. But you're pushing the buttons, and they know that. My one-to-one guys know that. They're pushing the buttons. All right? So I can give you so much, and other mentors, whoever you learn from, can give you so much, but you're the problem right now. And if you're the problem, you're also the solution to your own problems. You need to change how you act and who you view yourself as a trader and as a person. Because, again, I spoke about this earlier, but a successful trader doesn't roll out of bed onto their desk without doing other things and waking up properly and doing other things that, you know, would support good performance and trade New York session and just enter trades. And, you know, I'm smiling about it because it's funny, but that is a lot of you right now. You don't take it serious enough. And that lesson cost me £30,000 to tell you. Hopefully you guys haven't lost that amount of money. Some of you have lost more, and that's trading, right? But I would pay that fee over and over again, because that £30,000, I've made a lot more than that trading, and it was worth it. I would pay that fee over and over again. I just didn't realize it at the time. So if you're paying that fee now, you have to change. And if you change, that fee is going to be worth it. All right? But you have to change. You have to change who you are as a person, who you identify as. You know, when people go through these crazy transformations where they go from like £600 plus to ripped, and you're just like, how on earth? He must have completely changed who he is. Yeah, that's how they do that. You know, people, you know, big people who are £600 lose £200 and then gain it all back. They didn't change their identity. And look, I've never known what it's like to have to go through that sort of transformation. That's a crazy transformation. But I couldn't imagine the level you have to change internally to be able to complete that sort of transformation. That's like taking your brain, wiping it, and replacing it with a completely new brain, a completely new set of beliefs. You know, most of you don't even believe you can make £10,000 a month trading. You don't believe it's possible. That's the thing. Your belief systems are holding you back. This was me as well. I didn't think you could do that. I've done it now for a long time. Like, I genuinely didn't believe that was possible. Most of you don't believe that is possible, when the reality is it truly is. It really is possible. And you can do it as well, but you have limiting beliefs which are holding you back. Those limiting beliefs manifest into your actions. The limiting beliefs that you don't think you can do that manifest into how you act in front of the charts, how you act day to day. When you over leverage, it's because of your limiting beliefs. And it's because you are not who you say you are. You know, you've told friends and family that you're going to make it and you are not who you say you are. It's because of these limiting beliefs that are holding you back. If I could summarize this £30,000 lesson into a sentence or two, it would be: stop thinking there's a shiny new concept out there that's going to turn you profitable. The only thing that is going to turn you profitable is a decent strategy that works and repeats enough to where you're comfortable, and yourself, and how you approach the markets, how you approach your personal life. That's it. That sentence right there is what cost me £30,000. And you know, it doesn't have to cost all of you £30,000. It doesn't have to cost anything. If you watch this video and you genuinely take my advice, and I know it's hard to take advice without actually being through that experience, but please do it. Because again, if I could summarize my whole experience of 4 years of losing into one sentence, it would be that. So as for me, if you did resonate with this video, and if you did enjoy this video, drop a like and subscribe if you are new. If you want to learn from me for free, there's a 5-hour course in the description. It'll take you over to WAP, sign up there, and it is in the courses section when you sign up, completely free. If you want to work with me on a one-to-one level, where I get you profitable in 90 days, and there's a guarantee behind that, all of that, we can discuss that on a call if you click the top link in the description and go over there and apply for my mentorship. I personally review all your applications, so if I see you as a good fit, we can hop on a call and discuss how I would get you there. So if you want to become my one-to-one student and work with me on a one-to-one level, then go over there and apply. Anyway, Again, if you want to support me for free, the best thing you can do is subscribe and like the video. I hope you took something from this video, and I hope this is the turning point in your journey. I truly wish you all the best in your trading journeys, and good luck and good trading. I'll speak to you guys soon.